Hi, my name is Sophia, and my attempted behavior change is that of decreasing my overall consumption of caffeinated beverages. This would include coffee, tea, one of my favorites, bubble tea, sodas, fraps, and of course my go-to, which is iced coffee. So, before I begin my journey, I want to provide listeners with some general background information about caffeine itself. So, in accordance with the NIH, caffeine is defined as a methylxanthine, which is found naturally in a number of seeds, nuts, and leaves of certain plants. And the way that caffeine works is by stimulating the central nervous system and producing desired effects, which include alertness, a loss of appetite, and my favorite, fatigue suppression. And although not many know this, caffeine is considered a drug under the FDA, and unlike many other psychoactive coffee addicts like myself, caffeine is both legal and unregulated, just as any other drug would, including headaches, drowsiness, impaired concentration, decreases in feelings of contentment, and sociability. Though I haven't been diagnosed yet, I do experience lots of symptoms of GERD, and my mom has had GERD for a number of years now, so has my brother. So I do think it's genetic, and I do experience these symptoms when I eat very heavily condimented foods, very fried foods, heavily greasy foods, and when I drink my morning coffee or my iced coffee. So the way I handle this is very unhealthy. I pop a quick omeprazole or drink some magnesium milk and go about my day. In November of 2017, I experienced the passing of a kidney stone. I was in unbearable pain, probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I was sent to urgent care. I was given IV fluids, meds, and I ran through a CAT scan, and sure enough, results showed that I did have a kidney stone. And the doctor basically charged me with one condition, that was to lay off the caffeine and a high salt intake. Though I did listen to instructions and laid off the caffeine for months, I slipped back into my excessive caffeine habits once 2018 spring semester was in full swing and the workload of my nursing courses got to me. Sure enough, during midterm season, I experienced fever, chills, and my back ached for nearly 4 days before I seeked medical attention. And after doing some quick blood work tests, these tests ran back and said that I had a kidney infection that was spreading to the rest of my body, which my body was trying to fight off. And again, my physician gave me one condition: lay off the caffeine. Since then, I have tried my best to limit my caffeine intake and increase water consumption, especially if I do have myself a cup of coffee. And here's a picture of me the day that I was sent to urgent care. Some of the interventions that I tried were that of waking up earlier than usual. So rather than 3, 4 in the morning, I would try to be in bed before 1. That way I wouldn't need a morning coffee in the morning. I also looked into taking cold showers in the morning rather than at night. And an article by Medical Daily stated that a nice cold shower would stimulate the body, get your heart rate going, and would give you natural blood flow going. And that way you have a good source of energy, natural source of energy. And that's an approach called hydrotherapy. I usually work out from around 9 to 11 p.m., but I looked into a WebMD article that stated that it's recommended to work out a few hours before bed instead, because that way your heart rate, respiratory rate, and adrenaline levels can stabilize, so you get a better night's rest. And so I switched up my schedule, and now I try to work out from around 7 to 9 p.m. I also looked into snacking, so eating regularly and scheduled rather than having a heavy dinner. That way I can not feel so full right before bed. Another WebMD article stated that morning stretches or yoga help fight some fatigue. So I looked into that. I tried doing that as well. So although I may have cheated and not taken a full cold shower, the last few seconds of my shower I would stand under cold water, and I did see a noticeable difference in my wakefulness and overall mood. I also was successfully able to go to the gym earlier, or would come home to shower and do notes until I felt myself winding down and easily fell asleep soon after that. Although I didn't always have time for it, the days I did a quick few stretches before heading out the door to class, and again did notice a difference in how much energy I felt that I had. Though I tried my best to sleep earlier than usual, it was just not realistic due to my busy schedule, considering that I am taking on 21 units and the semester is winding down and projects are due. I did my best to eat periodically and space on my meals, but I felt as if I was force feeding myself, so that didn't go as well. Caffeine withdrawals were also very difficult to overcome. Here's a little funny picture of that. I applied the trans-theoretical model contemplation stage when I was made aware that I do indeed have a caffeine problem and that it was affecting my health due to the kidney problems I was having. I also used the outcome evaluations concept from the theory of planned behavior, since I did in fact want to not have to rely on caffeine and harm my sensitive kidneys any further. Towards the end of my health behavior change, I used the perceived benefits construct from the HBM to reinforce that cutting out caffeine was in fact in my benefit and would reduce the health threat it was imposing. Overall, I felt I gained self-efficacy and a sense of confidence in that I could cut caffeine out of my life if I truly wanted to, and that I was not truly dependent on it, simply accustomed to it. If I could extend my behavior change a few weeks or months longer, I am confident I could rid myself of consuming caffeine altogether. My recommendations are not to be so harsh on yourself even if you don't reach certain goals or have relapses, and to reward yourself for even small accomplishments, in healthy ways of course. I made sure I had a few spoonfuls of coffee-flavored ice cream every now and then to keep myself sane. You might even go as far as to rewarding yourself, like I did with a little tattoo. Here are some tables that I used. These are the resources that I use, and that concludes my health behavior change journal.